Well, willkommen, Hoyenan, and welcome back to Full Throttle Racing's Division 2. It's time for round 2 of our 8th season here, and we're going, of course, to the beautiful circuit of Suzuka in Japan. My name is Webbo, here as usual to take you through tonight's racing. Won't be here next week, but I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Hi to Perna, who is straight in on the chat as usual. Great stuff. Let me know who you're here to support and who you're here cheering on and what your name is, if necessary. Shellin says qualifying or qualifying. Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean, but Q1 is about to begin. You will have my voice for tonight rather than last week. Apologies for the problems we were experiencing. We had some technical difficulties, and I simply could not get back into the race to broadcast the end. So you'll be dying to know how things stood at the end of last week's race. Well, earning himself 32 points. Let me get this correct. Just had a slight doubt over what I was reading. Let me just give me a second, because I'm pretty sure that our man so Martin was credited with the win and the maximum points of 32 points, getting, as he did, points for pole coming out of race 1. Martin is on 32 points to Brad, Avalak and Umer. Next comes Chums, Uzi, Pantry Star 0, Nick Gishan, Argon Goose, and then Royal Viking. But all have scored down to 12th position with Super D, Top Gun, Shakes, Shane, Bunyiz and Jacques yet to score with us. In terms of the constructor standings, which pan the first two divisions, Premier Division and Division 2, if I recall correctly. If Division 3 are involved, then do let me know in the chat. I know a lot of you guys are watching. But Red Bull lead on 85 from Mercedes on 51. Haas and McLaren joint third place on 50 points. Then comes AlphaTauri on 39. We have Ferrari on 24. And then way back, Alfa Romeo. Aston Martin with Williams yet to score. Well, tonight we are looking forward to a strong and controlled race, hopefully, around the Suzuka circuit. I see an AlphaTauri on track already. Customarily, hardly surprises me to see Brad out there early on, but I think we've got a Haas driver out on track first of all, and that's Chums. Let's go and join Chums and see. He's already making it around to 130R, and it's time to get underway. Perna said nobody has load shedding. Well, I had a feeling someone had the load shedding tonight, but not the team that Perna is celebrating and cheering on tonight. Well, we're on board with Chums in the Haas. We are piling on into turn 1 and then through into turn 2. Get down to that 4th gear. Might want to just take up an extra gear once the track grips up, and then through the S's, the snake. Usually you want to hold this car into 6th gear all the way around here if possible, especially through that time trial process. Then we're into Dunlop now, climbing the hill, cresting over the blind crest of Dunlop, exit, and then heading into the fabulously fast Degner corners, number 1 followed by number 2, of course. Then we head under the bridge. Watch out for cars oversteering on the way out of Degner 2. Very difficult corner. Now we're going to be straight lining the car for braking into the hairpin. An early apex from Chums looks to be going low then high around the banked hairpin corner, which I like to refer to as the Kobayashi hairpin. But you can ride a medium line, a high line, or a high to low line as well. Through Spoon we go, through Spoon 1, and then cutting into Spoon 2. Now, on the F1 coverage this weekend, they were laughing at how it doesn't bear any resemblance to a spoon, but I think it's more likely this corner is named after the Spoon tuning company that tune up Honda cars. Anyway, through a 130R and then braking heavily down to the usually quite early labelled Casio Triangle chicane at the end of the lap. This is the final corner. It's just a traction zone, especially in the dry, and crossing the line then a 32.4 for Chums on the first fast lap. Is Top Gun about to set a lap? He's rattling his way through, if he's anything like me and racing on a wheel. Rattling through that backstretch, through the 130R. You can see the Ferris wheel in the background, which I think was the first trackside Ferris wheel on any world circuit, and cutting them through. We've got family affairs going on. We've got Tiago chatting with his cousin Shellin, and I haven't yet heard from any of the Osman family. Remember, Uzi and Umer, brothers, racing tonight. I believe we've got an apology to make to Mr. Osman, if he does indeed join us. Well, Top Gun gets to 32.003. Jacques a 37.072, which is some distance away. Now, threading through the S's goes the second of the Alfa Romeos. This is with Arno Goose. Again, tell me if I'm pronouncing things incorrectly. Arno, I will go with Brad. Logs in a 32.055, making Top Gun's early lap look extra good here. Brad in, I think I said 4th position in the championship currently. Heading for that hairpin. Again, a low to perhaps medium run through the hairpin as Buntius goes fastest, a 31.545. Early banker laps coming in at the start with. Hi to Simps, hi to AP Mark. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good stream tonight. Through the Spoon corner they go then. Fastest lap for 02 Call, who is hosting the session tonight. So hopefully you'll be, any neutrals will be supporting the host and the and anyone who has yet to feature on our podium. Royal Viking in second at 31.1, but a really good lap there from 02 Cool. Arno coming through the 130R and braking heavily for the Casio Triangle chicane. A little bit of wheel spin, needs to short shift through the final corner on his next trip through, and he gets a 30.370, some 5 tenths faster than anybody else on the early banker laps, leaving nothing behind there through that one. Through the Degners goes Uzi right now. Puna says the Ferrari boys looking good. Well, Zero is up there, Super D still in the pits, so quite sure whether it's boys plural or simply Zero who is looking good tonight. We'll see what Super D can get out of this one as well. To then Spoon, first half of Spoon. You can treat this as one continuous corner if you wish, but it is the apexes are taken at slightly different speed. You really want to hook up that inside tyre through both of the inside curves, particularly the second, to get a good slingshot down this long backstretch before throwing the car with absolute abandon into the 130R. We will see, I'm sure, overtaking attempts at least into that Casio Triangle, and through the end of the lap, DRS open for Uzi, and a 31.524 is his best lap. His brother is out there. Let's join his brother and see what he can do in response. Through getting the car into Degner, getting a huge amount of Degner 1's apex, leaving a little bit out there for Degner 2, and unfortunately a little bit of overspeed through the corner, getting a little bit overexcited on that early lap, so it's not working out currently for Umer, who was the foremost of the two McLarens following the previous race. I had felt like there was a celebration after the event last week that Umer was the winner. There must have been some stewards' findings that have taken him out of it. Martin goes into the pits having not set a lap. Do we have a driver actually setting a lap right now? It looks like Bertz and Umer are both on a cool down. We know what happened to Umer. I'm not sure about Bertz. Let's join the Aston Martin then on board and see. I don't know if it's a deliberate nod to the Japanese flag on his helmet at the moment, but he's rocking a mostly white and red helmet right now. A little away from the apex through turn 2, perhaps. Seems to be chasing the car a little bit, waiting for it to grip up rather than anticipating the position of the car. Playing with those gears just to try and grip the car in. Into Dunlop we go then, and if there's ever a place where you should have a Dunlop bridge, it should be over the Dunlop corner, surely. 2.5 seconds faster than his previous time through sector 1. You would expect something similar, as he said, a 1:59, and getting that car nice and straight before braking. Now this is a middle line going through the hairpin. expertly modelled there by Burts. You do, for the fastest possible laps, do want to avoid that inside curb, but it's really on a knife edge on your turn-in point. Bit of a lottery how that will turn up. Anyway, through Spoon 2 we go. Didn't quite make the apex of Spoon 2. So Burts on a 1:32.5 goes 10th. A bit of a warm-up lap plan there, it looks like. What have we got going down? We've got the Red Bulls coming out onto track as Ume goes fastest at 30.332, and that was a much better second lap. Now will we see these laps as Nick Gishen goes into 3rd place? We've got Abby currently on the lap as well, just finishing out his lap here. Well, let's see. Gerhard Butter says hi, Webo. Hi to you. Hi to everybody, of course. If you haven't said hello yet, make sure you do. What's going to be that cut-off point for the end of this Q1 as Abby manages to set a 52.2 on his first lap? I imagine it's going to go a little bit quicker than that on this next lap. He's got a, I think that looks like an Alfa Romeo up ahead on the circuit. Who is that going to be? I'm guessing Jacques. No, they're both in the pits, so I've got it wrong. Must be another red car, presumably a Ferrari, or possibly Super D out there. Well, Abby with support from Botta. Abby does like this Red Bull. When we have the car auction, he's always first to make sure the Red Bull is his. Appropriately enough, if he's overpaying for a Red Bull seat. I'll leave it at that. I had a thought the other day that by whatever percentage overspend a team makes, maybe their drivers and constructors' points should be reduced by that percentage. I wonder how that would work out. So through 130R goes Abby, the Ferrari driver out of his way. Joshua's here for the Ferraris as well. It's good to hear. Up through the gears then towards the line, a 30.639 for Abby, slightly beaten by his teammate. And then we've got Shakes, Martin and Super D on hot laps at the moment. Super D just coming through at the moment. That's not a hot lap though, that's a 42.6. Shakes, that's not a hot lap either. Let's ride with Martin instead then and try and get this one through. Very nice for Pernat there to leave a compliment. Always well received. I won't do myself the inappropriate thing of reading out my own compliments, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you very much. Martin swinging the car through the Casio triangle with the Go Faster fish helmet on and a P5 130.777. I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. That will get him through to the next round. 4.5 minutes to go of Q1. So those tail runners, Brad, Burts, Jacques, Super D and of course Shakes will be hoping to try and get the car plugged in and ready to go for the next one. And let's join Brad and see where he is. Unfortunately, Brad has invalidated this current lap. Jacques, though, is on his hot lap at the moment. Nicely through the apexes. That's a 4th unusually for Jacques. Umet still with the provisional pole, 30.332, beating Arno's 30.370, and they have retired along with Nick in that position at the moment, so feeling pretty confident. Welcome if you are just joining us. As I'll say every week, make sure that you give us a follow, like the video, follow me on Twitter if you want to, at WeatherRed5, for all my live streams. I also am slowly but surely building up a playlist on my YouTube channel of track guides. I do have one for Japan if you're Division 3 and looking to race tomorrow night here on this channel. Nearly a second faster than he's been before is Jacques through Sector 2. He is at risk of elimination at the moment. A second will not get him out into the clear. I'm quite sure how good or bad his previous Sector 3 was. So let's see as he crosses the line. It's a 33.810, much closer, but still not close enough, unfortunately. Pressure on though, Shakes. Usually a bit of a front runner here in Division 2, certainly for Season 6. I think he briefly made an appearance in the Premier Division last season, so it was Shakesless for the previous one. Anyway, P15 for Shakes is not good for AlphaTauri, 31.844, and beating his teammate with just over 2 minutes to go. We've got Hashim, who is new to us tonight. He's just joined the server, and he's currently in 12th. I'm sure a newbie with the server would quite enjoy being there outside of the elimination zone at the moment. P12 then is where he finds himself. We're waiting for that first sector update, which comes at the end of Dunlop. There's an AlphaTauri who's not having a fun time on the exit of Dunlop, and he's quicker is Hashim. And this is potentially top 10 territory for Hashim if he can complete this lap. Currently in the drop zone we have Brad, Chums, Shakes, Burtz and Jacques Slater, and anybody who manages to get themselves disqualified from the session will ride with Hashim now. Nicely controlled, if a little early on the throttle through Spoon 2. Now up the incline of the backstretch. Sharp shadows and sunshine crashing around, distracting the drivers, waiting for that braking zone, which unusually comes as early as what is marked as 100 metres, but it is a very early braking marker board set. We seem to have lost the 50-metre board. Hashim then across the line with a provisional pole, a 29.980. He'll be very pleased with that one. Burtz on a 32.5 is currently on his hot lap through the 130R. Third gear to navigate the Casio triangle. That's one way to do it. Now you want to short shift up through into fifth at least before crossing the line. 32, he got a 37 that time, so clearly not one of a push lap. Uzi though completing his final lap, I believe, here, and positive on his own delta. I should say negative. He's under his time, should we say. Have we got any Osman fans tonight joining us, McLaren fans? Uzi P4 on a 30.457, just 1/10 slower than his brother. I don't know who's the older or the younger. I need that kind of detailed information. As Chums in P15, right on the bubble for elimination, goes for his next lap at the moment, heading towards Spoon. We'll get an update halfway down the backstretch, just before they turn into 130R. Brad has retired from 14th position, unable to get any further forward. Chums is just over his time, almost a 10th. He could possibly make that up with a good final sector, which is just this Casio triangle and the difficult traction zone. That was a nice bit of second part of the chicane apex. DRS in effect. P15, he did improve, gained a hefty amount in that third sector, but a 31.766 leaves him vulnerable in P15. Burtz on a lap at the moment, 6/10 to the good, and spins, unfortunately, trying to get the car launched out of the Casio triangle. That's the end of Burtz's lap. Looks like it's going to be Hashim on top, and it looks like we were going to see Burtz among possibly Shakes, Jacques, and even Chums eliminated. Depends what the game decides to do here. Uzi, I think, on his way into the pits. that is the end of Q1 with Hashim's 1:29.980, the fastest time and the only driver into the 1:29. Hi to Sven. Hi to everybody who is watching with us. If you haven't said hello yet, do make sure you do so. Get a shout out, ask a question if you like, and for extra points, spot something I'm not talking about and help a commentator out. Looks like somebody snuck into the lobby there at the end of the session. There's Hashim, fastest as I mentioned before. 3.5 tenths away is Umer, then comes Arno, Uzi, Nick Gishen, Avalak, Martin, 0, then Royal Viking and Super D, your top 10. Boontiers, Pantry Star, Top Gun and Brad and Chums all made it through, and we lost Shakes, Butts and Jacques. I am very surprised to see Brad and Shakes down in 14th and 16th positions. Just goes to show that a change of game and handling mechanics can really upset the order. Shakes, Butts and Jacques, we will see come race time, and I think there may be somebody else who snuck in there at the end. Hopefully that won't cause another server glitch and kick me out like it did last week. Well, keep your fingers crossed for me. I've tried to cover off any issues by making requests of the drivers, and we'll see. Expecting dry conditions today, as usual. There is the green light to get underway for our next session. Q2 now underway. 15 minutes, 15 drivers. Let's get them down to a top 10 shootout, shall we? Driver's already out, and there's a Red Bull, I think, already on his way. Is that Avi? No, it's Nick Gishen who is going to take us round on his outlap. From second position in the pit lane, he's managed to get himself onto the track first of all. Always difficult for the cars further up the pit lane. Fantastic circuit here at Suzuka, but we will see drivers making mistakes and being punished for those mistakes by this old school narrow circuit with grass and gravel, usually your track limits. I don't think anything can be assumed come race time. What I want as a commentator is helicopter cam views of drivers pushing and fighting, but it is on random. You see the leaves of the trees that are often falling down the backstretch here in Suzuka. And we head into, and there's Brad saying, new game, new challenges. Yep, racing driver excuses book, page 1. New technical regs are affecting his performance. Well, Brad, let's hope you can get yourself a bit higher up than before as we go into turn 1 and 2 on board with the Red Bull of Nick. And we know that Gerhard Botta is here supporting the Red Bulls, so I'm sure he'll appreciate some screen time on board with Nick, who got himself out of the pits first and earned that right as far as I work it. Into Degner 1. To say at the weekend, watching the cars go through Degner 1 was one of the most pleasurable things of a deeply difficult to follow race coverage, but the speed the cars were going through Degner 1 is almost like it didn't exist. Were phenomenal. What I can promise you is a slightly clearer picture of what the race is going to, what length the race is going to run to, and what the results are likely to mean come the end of our broadcast today for the Japanese Grand Prix. 1:13.1 is the second sector time for Nick. Obviously that lights up purple, but only because it's his first lap of the session. The glitch has been with us for multiple iterations of the 7K. And across the line then goes Nick on a 1:30.143. Not quite in the 1:29s, but let's see what Hashim can do. As he crosses the line then at 1:30.5. Again, not as quick as he was on the previous session, but a nice, impressive time. Beaten though by Martin at 1:32.28, and Arno goes faster than Umer at 30.528 to Umer's 30.724. Chums might be able to get a distant toe off the car in front. That is his teammate in the Haas, Pantry Star, up in front. We haven't actually ridden on board with Pantry Star. Again, that looked like a little bit of a duck out of the throttle from Chums. Not pushing on this particular lap, just charging the car and getting the tyres into an operating window. Shout if you've had too much watching on board of Red Bull tonight. Join quickly with Avalak, server owner. Across the chicane then. That's a 30.4, that's a very healthy early lap for Avi. There comes Bunyi's in the Williams then, heading out of Degner 2, under the tunnel, under the crossover as it is. Buna says Avalak for pole. Well, he's going to have to improve by 0.3 at least. I would say he's going to have to improve by half a second or more to be within a shout of pole, given that Hashim got a 29.9 in the previous session and the track is improving. Bunyi's with a healthy run so far. Possibility of a toe off the car in front. Very light on the brakes for Bunyi's. Obviously got the car hooked up well. Track where your high downforce setting is very, very useful, but in the race leaves you vulnerable or unable to make an overtake. The straights are very short here in Japan at the Suzuka circuit. Very difficult to make an overtake if you don't have a top speed advantage on your setup. Zero looking quick though in the Ferrari. Getting the car break down into the apex. How much apex dare he take through the second part of the chicane? A lot is the answer. And again, short shifting, hugging the inside line, and a 30.8 is his best effort on this lap. Where's his teammate at the moment? He's got a 33.0 in his first attempt, his first sector. Riyadh is here for Hashim. Riyadh, weren't you supporting someone else last week because Hashim wasn't here? Were you one of the many Osman family supporters? Remind me, if you will. And you didn't let me know if I should pronounce your name Riyadh or Riyadh. That's far more important. Anyway, getting down to the business end of Q2, 7.5 minutes just over left to go before the checkered flag. Super D across the line in P5, quickly beaten though by I think Nick, who put the car onto pole and got a 1:30.143. So Super D in 6th position. Currently on outlaps though, we have Pantry Star, who has just started his next lap, and Uzi hoping to get themselves comfortably through to the front. Akil says he's here for Hashim as well. Great, excellent. So Hashim has joined and has already got 2 major fans joining us. Great to see. Always interesting to know which of our drivers are most followed. And make sure if you do have a gang of friends into F1 esports racing that you share the video link on social media. Sure that you get them involved. It's always fun when we get lots of friends and fans involved. Travis, tell me that's not Mad Trav saying let's go Red Bull team. And And Akil, saying that Hashim is bringing new followers to the stream. Awesome. Well, you do your bit if you can, and get FTR the kind of following it deserves. We have very tight racing. Premier Division on a Tuesday night. This race for the Division 2 on a Wednesday, and of course we have Division 3 on a Thursday night. I believe it's all at the same time as well. Mr. M says, good luck guys, and what happened to Shakes? Well, Shakes might be watching in the live chat. If he is, Shellin, do let us know what went down. So Pantry Star across the line into P4, 30.453, just slightly behind and just slightly ahead of Arno and Avalak respectively. Uzi out there starting his next lap here in the McLaren with just over 5.5 minutes to run, and it is Matrav with us. Excellent. Matrav, how is the Premier Division going? Let me know. Are you thrashing everyone again? Shellin says, don't listen to these trolls, Webbo. No one's trolling me, Shellin Shakes. Just you at the moment. Going way off track, thankfully, for Uzi's perspective. He's one of the rivals. It might have been either A. What was it? It was definitely a Haas. Sorry, Chums on an outlap. I think now then. So Uzi out of the hairpin, round 200R. This is into the spoon double left-hander. Well, that's an interesting line across the grass from Uzi. Maybe just looking down at his steering wheel, making an adjustment. Got exactly where the car was pointed. Slamming on the brakes then at around 80 metres, maybe 85 metres. Missing the apex of the second part of the chicane and into the pits from 15th place. Didn't like that lap, but hasn't gone around to complete the lap. And that might be problematic later on. Could have put the lap in, but maybe top 10 time, he's not interested. Top Gun starts his next lap then in the Mercedes. And around goes Top Gun, unfortunately. Too much curb on the inside of turn 5, 6, turn 6, and that will undo your day any day long. Well, Umer is on a cooldown, so let's have a look at Zero to cool. Using suit gear, low revs through Dunlop. Mr. M says, please say your YouTube channel again. My YouTube channel is at WebORed5. I think you can also find that on Twitter as well, on the same handle, Twitter, PSN, and YouTube. But of course, make sure you've subscribed to Full Throttle Racing F1 as well while you're here. Well, a lot of gear changes going on mid-spoon there for Zero. If that was a deliberate downshift, upshift routine. Aggressive through 130R. Not shy of taking the apexes for Zero from P9 and 30.8, his fastest lap so far. Zero goes into P3 at 30.2, half a second faster than he's been before, as we join Chums on his lap when he's trying to get himself out of the elimination zone. 2 minutes and, 10 seconds plus to go in this session. Got Brad just finishing his lap, taking the Charles Leclerc route, but it's still P11 for Brad, hoping to get some improvement out there. Got Super D. I don't know what the D stands for in Super D. It's not what it sounds like. Avalak definitely on a warm-up lap here. So, try and find a driver who is actually attacking the circuit. There is Hashim on a 29.9. Similar lap to the 10th as he set in Q1, and very safely through to Q2. I'm surprised to see him not go any faster yet. Maybe he's keeping his powder dry here. Bunyiz from P12 in the elimination zone through Q2, of course. Middle of the road line through the Kobayashi hairpin for Bunyiz. Another driver all over the gearbox with the gear selection through Spoon. See some early retirements coming in just to leave the track available for the drivers still out there trying to complete their laps. This is Bunyiz from 12th position, 31.483 is his best. Slight over rotation through the second part of the chicane, but hugging the pit wall and getting himself just safe into 10th place, but will definitely still be vulnerable. Royal Viking and Uzi are on laps at the moment. Royal Viking in the Aston Martin. Uzi, is he behind him on track? He is. Let's see Royal Viking then across the first sector on the approach to Degner 1. And it's a very slow lap, so he's obviously not pushing at the moment. And Uzi, who is pushing, unfortunately spins on the way through Dunlop, and there he will regret not having completed that first lap. The checkered flag has already gone, and he will be out of the session. Unfortunately, Uzi out at the bottom of the order through Q2. Royal Viking, he won't go any quicker at the moment through this lap because he has to finish it, and he's much slower. Looks like it's going to be Hashim on top again at 29.9. Not bad for a newbie to the league. Nick Gishan, another a relative newcomer at least, in second. Dennis Martin in third, who is very used to taking the top step through qualifying. Then we've got Zero Too Cool, Umair, Arno, and Pantry Star, Avalak, Super D, and Bunyiz. Top Gun, Brad, Royal Viking, Chums, and Uzi will be eliminated from this session, unfortunately. I will be back in a moment for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right with you with Q3. Back with Webbo for Q3. Let me have your predictions. Who's going to take pole and what by what what time will we see something nearer the 129.5? What do you think will be pole position tonight? What did the Premier Division drivers manage, and how close do you think the Division 2 drivers will be able to make it? Let's. Okay, that's the first time I've had that problem come up. No tower on the order. Oh, this game always surprises you what it's going to show up next. I have no tower showing. Good stuff from Shellin. From Sheikh saying predicts a 29.7. Excellent. Mohammed Sidat is here for Hashim, sounds like. And if anybody knows how to correct this particular visual glitch that I'm suffering right now. There we go. Looks like just hiding UI is the way to go. It's just a toggle switch. There we go. We've fixed it. And Arno first out. No, not first out of the pits. Is it Avi? It is actually Nick once again. So, given that we watched the first lap with Nick last time, I'm going to break my own rule and ride with Arno instead. Good to have everybody with us. Hope you're enjoying it so far tonight. And we'll see who can get the pole position. Any advance on Shellin's prediction there for a 29.7? Megan says Arno or Nick. Megan, do you know something we don't know? I'm going to ask you, Megan, to pick one of Arno or Nick. Can't make a prediction for two drivers for pole. It's not how it works. Let's get underway then with Arno. I think someone's cleared out both the 100 and the 50 meter marker boards. That's going to make a problem. And AP Mark says Umair 1, Hasham 2. Hashim 2, sorry, is what he means. So, no team loyalties going on for AP Mark through. Nice pickup into turn 1. Might just give that indication for Arno that the track is at its peak. Staying in 5th gear, is he? Through here. Now down to 4th. Through turn 6. Now into Dunlop. Up the gears. The car wanting to let go on you. On the outside, looking for the Degner curve. No braking marker boards left for that one either. Let's hope it wasn't a deliberate spoiler tactic by one of the drivers. Down into the hairpin we go. Inside to outside positioning for Arno. Take the most direct route through 200R and into spoon 1. Looking like he's got good grip through here. Yeah, that was a nice line. Perhaps could have gone a little bit quicker through spoon 2 for the setup all the way down the back stretch. Bouncing up and down. Very old circuit, of course. There's the 100 meter mark. Board, it is still there. Nick gets a 30.3. Martin a 29.5. And he saved his best till Q3. 29.9 would have been good enough for the front row from Arno in the first two sessions. Umair goes a 29.682. And let's see about Hashim. He only manages a 29.6, which is 0.3 better than he's managed so far this evening, but not good enough for Martin, who is we are well used to seeing on top of the tree here at Division 2. Through the chicane goes Avi then to finish off. We've got Buntius and Avi still to set their times. Abalak manages a 30.391, very competitive, 0.8 of a second separating the top 9 so far. Buntius just waiting to set his time after everybody. Lets everybody else clean the track up. AP Mark holding with Umair. Nobody fancying Martin tonight yet. I think we may get some latecomers to the pole prediction who will settle on Martin. Don't sleep on Martin Nartjes for pole. Just still working, really, Martin, on his race consistency, but his qualifying is absolutely nailed on every time. So a 30.7 for Buntius, settling him into that next run at the rear of the field as the drivers peel off into the pits to finish their first out fast in lap combination. We've got Martin, Hashim, Umer very close to each other, Hashim and Umer. Then comes Arno, Pantry Star 02, Super D, Nick, Avalak, Boonies, and the entry to the pit lane. I have to say, I have commentated over several Japanese Grand Prix over the last week or two, and that pit lane entry is very tight, catches the drivers out, and if they do knock a piece of their wing off in the action of braking for the speed limiter marking board, the team will not change the front wing on the pit stop they are pitting for at that moment. It is deeply frustrating, but it means a double pit stop if you do get that pit lane entry wrong. So if any of the drivers are listening in, do consider yourselves duly warned. It's far from simple. And we have a 1.2 second gap from first to 10th, a 0.8 of a second gap from first to 9th, and I think it's only going to get closer as we get ready for the second laps. It looks like the drivers might well be able to do 3 cycles here tonight. Looks like Arno is coming out of the pits for his next out lap as things stand. Yes indeed, through turn 1 and 2 he goes, just again with that Japanese colour scheme on his helmet. I don't know if that's deliberate or there to coordinate with his car colours. I don't know if we have got the father of family Osman with us. If he is with us watching, his 2 boys Umer and Uzi, then he hasn't spoken up yet. Any of the Osman family watching or Osman fans have rejoined us, or are they staying quiet until they're near the front of the grid during race time? Arno in the Alfa Romeo then getting himself through the end of second sector on this second run through. 4 minutes just over still to go. Arno will, if he messes up this lap, might be able to get another one in, but time is ticking by for those drivers in the pits. I think those drivers in the pits are waiting to have one clear run at the end, but it's possible to get a bit of a traffic jam through this circuit. So working through the gears, DRS open for the next attack lap here from Arno. He was first out of the pits a lap previously. Let's stay with him as long as he is positive on his lap. We've got a Red Bull, I'm assuming, yeah, it's Nick behind him on track, down in 8th at the moment, Nick. Taking 4th gear. And well, that's certainly not going to stay positive. Unfortunately, spinning on the approach to Dunlop. No problems for Nick through here, and he is 1/10 better off. We've also got Super D on our lap at the moment. Let's see, Super D. No, his lap is no good. Let's stay with Nick then until we've got another driver actually on our hot lap. Building through the gears then, Nick down the back stretch. .4 faster than he's been before. Seeing him, if he completes the lap, well into the 129s. How much more can he gain though? He needs to get that Red Bull much nearer the front of the race for the Honda fans, and into P5 he goes, a 29.775. That would have seen him on top of both Q1 and Q2, but such is the track ramp up. Here comes Arno to finish off his lap, stays in 6th position. Pantry Star in the Haas currently on a lap crossing over the first sector, 1.5 tenths better off. Still waiting for the laps of Hashim, Martin, Super D, Umer to start up again, and they come out for their out laps. Looks to be Hashim, Umer, Super D in that order. So can Martin hold on to his time of a 1:29.581, less than a tenth faster than Hashim, who has had the top time in both Q1 and Q2. As a newcomer here to the league, wanting to stamp his authority very early on, with plenty of fans watching. Pantry Star breaks down into the Casio Triangle chicane. Across the line for Pantry Star, stays 7th, lost out in that second sector, unfortunately for him, but 0 is 1/4 of a second faster than he's been before through sector 1 at least, into Spoon, throws the car through. Hashim has started his next hot lap. Let's see 0 through his second sector before we join Hashim, who is on a hot lap, as is Umer, a little bit ahead of him. 0-2, getting a nice slipstream from his teammate in the Ferrari. Well coordinated, and he's still to the positive here. Still underneath his time. Goes through the chicane, does 0 in P8. Can he complete this one any better? From 8th to 6th for 0. Next one, we've got Umer, who is nearly 1/4 of a second up on his fastest lap. And I've got Hashim on a lap at the moment. He's also 1/4 of a second faster. It's definitely going to be a battle here. Umer nearly half a second now. Half a second will be comfortably with the pole. Let's stay with Umer through the final sector. Needs a really strong exit from the corner here. 4th, 5th, 6th gears as we go through. Hashim goes 29.5, but Umer on a 29.113 is a tremendous time early doors. So Umer tops Hashim. Martin still with a shout here, as Super D, where is he at the moment? Through sector 1, he is 1.5 tenths faster than he's been before. Super D may get himself into the mix for the front row. I'm not sure at that rate is going to be quick enough for the pole position. Where is Martin currently? Oh, someone's commenting just over just over my sector times. I can't read them. I'm gonna have to wait to see what happens with Martin. It's Martin, Super D, and I think Nick's still on the track at the moment. Nick's not going any quicker, just getting out of everybody's way. Definitely it's the Super D versus Martin here for 3rd position on the starting grid, pushing each other to new heights. Nobody taking the Latifi line to the early chicane so far in Q3, in all of qualifying, I should say. Then heading towards the line, then Super D. Any improvement? Yes, but not enough. So Martin comes up. He is 1.5 tenths faster than he's been before. This will see him on the second place, and it does indeed at 29.392. But nobody is a match for the McLaren of Umer Osman, who secures that P1 for the start of the race. Emphatically faster than anybody in qualifying. But how much will that stick with us through into the race? I wonder. Umer Osman securing that pole position. Fabulous lap, a 1:29.113, some 8 tenths faster than we saw the fastest time in Q1 and 2. Tremendous. And AP Marg is enjoying life, waving his McLaren flag and banner all over the place. It's Umer on the pole. 1:29.112 from Martin, 1/4 of a second to the good. Martin in the Mercedes on a 1:29.391. Next up, Hashim, who topped the timing screens in Q1 and 2. Only manages 3rd this time, even though he got a better time by 4 tenths than he managed before. Super D in 4th. Nick in 5th. Should be a very, very close battle there at the front of the field. 0-2, Arno. Pantry Star in 8th. Then Avalak and Buntiers round out the top 10. But it's still all to play for in our 50% race here around Japan. Looks like it'll be a medium and hard tyre combination, depending on the order in which they wish to start. But we should have a very, very enjoyable Division 2 race. Let's have your podium predictions then, while we've got this lull between the two sessions. Let me know your 3 drivers in the order you think they are going to finish, and if you get it right, remind me later, and we'll give you the kudos points that you deserve. So just park firme, as you see that stepped pattern through the garages here. You see when it rains heavily, you can see often you get mechanics making kind of paper boats to sail down the pit lane, as is the fairly steep pit lane exit. And it's the formation lap beginning right now. Remember that Jacques will start from the back for the Alfa Romeo team. His teammate up in 7th though. Very nice position to start the race. We've got a mix of medium and hard tyres on the circuit. We've got hard tyres for Avalac, Brad, Uzi and Bertz, who will struggle for the first couple of laps to get that tyre warmed up, but will be in a nice flexible position for a potential safety car. Everybody else on medium tyres from the start. Then comes Bertz from the back at 17th position. His teammate is in 13th for Aston Martin. Shakes starts down in 16th, but I'm sure we'll be looking to move forward with his teammate there in 12th position, Brad, in the Alpha Tauri. Uzi, his teammate is on pole, but he only managed, teammate and brother is on pole, but he only managed to get 15th position. Expect to see him move forward, but not necessarily in the first lap or 2. Chums in the Haas in 14th position. His teammate Pantry Star in 8th. We've talked about Royal Viking. Top Gun, the rearmost Mercedes, starting in P11. Then comes Bunyies for Williams. The only Williams in tonight's field. Is that correct? I think that's correct. Hashim, I believe, is in the Alpine. Let's wait till we get there. Avalac in 9th, making the second best team starting position for Red Bull, with 5th place Nick. Then we've got the best starting positions for anybody, 0-2 and Super D for Ferrari, 6th and 4th respectively. Hashim is in the Williams, forgive me. Too many blue icon cars. And then of course we've got Martin and Umair on the front row. Umair will have the outside line, which is the Ayrton Senna approved outside line into turn 1 for the pole position. That was corrected after their famous incident, Senna and Prost into turn 1. The outside line, where the grip is and where the natural racing line takes you. So we'll be underway for you very soon. Haven't seen anybody's podium predictions yet. For maximum kudos points, you enter them right now in the live chat. Simp says, good luck starting on hards. Yeah, that is going to be fairly difficult for the drivers. This is the starting grid then for round 2 of season 8 at the Division 2 in Full Throttle Racing, the South African Premier League for league racing. And we are going to be underway for you very shortly. Shakes disqualified from the session will have cooler tyres, as it has 0-2 cool. He will also be in that situation. Waiting then for the start lights to be underway for you, and it is lights out, drop the clutch and go, 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 with a great start from Umair, immediately getting a jump, and we've got a 3-way battle then for second place. Who's going to be the one who blinks first onto the inside? It's Super D who holds that second place at the moment, but Martin sneaking up the inside, trying to get into the better racing line, but ceding that second possession to Super D. Hashim dropping down in the Williams to P4 with Nick. Anu Bunyies 0-2 Pantry and Avalac getting through the initial snake, and everybody safely enough. Brad dropping back 2.3 seconds away from the rest of the drivers. Everybody else starting away from the line nice and tidy. Let's have a quick check then on the position change. That was Super D up 2 places as he was from 4th on the grid. Bunyies up 3 so far. and the field already starting to spread here on this narrow circuit around Suzuka as the drivers get used to their tyres. Dropping down 2 positions, 0-2. Everybody else roughly where they started, but Brad was the one who was the big loser on that initial run, and he is down at the back of the grid, although battling currently with both Bertz and with Jacques. Bertz off the circuit, Brad alongside Jacques coming through 200R and into Spoon 1. Brad making up places immediately. He was 2.3 seconds off the back of the driver in front, and before the second sector has made it back up to 16th position. Let's go back up to the start though and see Super D and remind ourselves of the tyre allocation. The top 9 all on medium tyres. The furthest forward alternate strategy is Avalac on the hard tyres, and Umer Osman already starting to defend the inside, just weaving around to discourage a run into his slipstream toe down the start-finish straight and through the beautiful amphitheatre of turns 1 and 2 with the lake in the middle. I don't know when something stops becoming a pond and turns into a lake, but I'm going to call it a lake as Fahim Osman, who I'm sure is part of the Osman family, says good luck. Presumably to his boys, but was that Hashim getting an oversteer moment just as one of his relatives managed to give him good luck. He had an oversteer moment through Dunlop, and I hope that doesn't discourage Fahim from further comment through the rest of this race, because the first time that Fahim has spoken up, and unfortunately his charge Hashim unfortunately made a mistake. Forgive me. Hashim, no relation of course to Fahim. I'm getting confused with everybody's names. It is Umer still on top from Uzi in 12th position, making up places, progressing well in the McLaren, and we've got Hashim recovering to 8th, starting in 3rd position, down to 8th already, but nice and tight battle going on. There is Arno challenging the Red Bull of Nick ahead, hoping to stay with the driver rather than go for a risky move into the chicane. Umer a 34.138 is the fastest lap so far as DRS is enabled, and we've got a potential overtake here. Arno getting up the inside of the Red Bull before the DRS is actually in operation. It was enabled, yes, but only into the next detection zone. So a great move from Umer on the immediate turn. And Fahim says, go boys, Umer and Uzi. I believe I've got an apology to make to Fahim, who is all man, definitely not a lady, who apparently I made some comment last week that Fahim was a lady. I don't know why I would have done that, but apologies if I offended Fahim, a very manly man by all accounts. Umer in the front by half a second from Super D, Martin and Arno. Nick Gishen right behind though, and Booty is in P6. Catching up to the back of Nick as things stand. Looking good for Williams currently. Hashim has dropped all the way down to 18th though and has pitted, put on hard tyres, going for an undercut. That's a long way for hard tyres to run. What is that going to be? 24 laps on the hard tyres. A big ask. Through 130R go the front three, Umer, Super D and Martin. Super D right on the tail now of Umer, and actually getting a little bit too close under braking, perhaps having to correct the car. It's Martin around 0.3 of a second. You need to be under 0.3 to make use of the DRS if you can. Super D with the DRS profit on the car in front. We've got a DRS train, top 3, a little gap to Arno, 3 seconds. Then comes Nick and Boonties behind them with 0-2 also in the next train. Top Gun might have a go on Avalac shortly as well. Very close. Avalac, the lead most hard runner of course, and starting to get vulnerable here to the advances of Top Gun. Let's stick with the front way battle though, because it is a 3-way battle between these three. We've having fun through the Degners and in towards the hairpin. Key to these guys' battles here will be not taking too much out of the tyre and not battling too hard to make this any more than the three of them. Uzi overtakes Brad, it seems, down in the in the P for P12. Looks like Brad might be off track or pitting, is he? No, Brad just struggling around. To see Brad and Shakes in 15th and 18th is a very sobering thing for me after watching them in seasons gone by here in D2. Super D 0.3 of a second behind Umer, which is about the sweet spot. Need to be slightly closer to try and make use of that DRS coming through the next start-finish straight. He's already down to 50% ERS usage. Anu gets the fastest lap as they go over the start-finish line, and a little show, but not go for Super D. Now you can see just that, just slightly too close. All the top three on very similar telemetry at the moment on their ERS. So let's see them go through the next few corners. If you, of course, have the DRS, you can start to harvest your electrical energy a little bit easier than the cars in front. Is that Brad shaping for a move potentially here on the Alfa Romeo of Jacques? No way through though, obviously not quite close enough through those first couple of corners. Hashim, Royal Viking and Shakes have all pitted early doors. Royal Viking will be in a difficult position here to try and make the best out of that strategy call. He'll be hoping for a safety car, a 0-2 call, and Nick swap places, 0-2 getting the job done into P6. Nick Gishin down to P7. Avalak still the lead most of the alternate strategy, starting on the hard tyres in P9, some 3.3 seconds off the car in front. And let me just get this straight. He is 10.6 seconds off the leader, dropping a little bit too far back for comfort, but this stint will come to him shortly. Super D has the DRS profit, but I don't think is close enough to make an overtake. Here is 0-2, dipping underneath the 3/10 mark. Not close enough. Likewise through the next corner. Maybe Top Gun will be on the back of Avalak, but he seems to be lifting because the safety car has been deployed. What is that for? Looks to be Brad's retirement, unfortunately. Where is Brad? He is on the Exeter Spoon 2. Let's ride with the Aston Martin. Keep your eyes peeled. But no, the car is already cleared in time. We have our first safety car, and I wonder whether we will see our first pit stops from the lead runners. Is the hard tyre in operation? Is it available to the drivers? We're going through Degner 1 and 2 at the moment. I wonder if the medium runners will decide that a 21 lap run on the hard tyres after a safety car, or including a safety car, will be useful. 5-second penalty for Top Gun for a severe collision with Avalak. It's usually due to the driver in front trying to trim the car down to the safety car delta. It's a difficult job, and if the driver in front slams on the brakes, there's not much you can do about it. Make sure during the safety car that you are following us on socials. You've subscribed to this channel with the notification bell, you've liked the video, and you've subscribed to me on Twitter if you wish to, at WebORed5, all one word, spelled just as you might imagine, W-E-B-B-O-R-E-D, and the number 5. Points if you can guess which driver was my favourite as a child, with Red 5. Into the pits comes the top 3, 4, and not the 5th driver. 0-2 comes into the pits as well. So Boonties goes through on the medium tyre. Umer has decided, oh no,